is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of Kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of Kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A trove of public records obtained by privacy experts at Georgetown Law revealed that ICE and the FBI have used facial recognition technology to mine state driver's license databases for information on millions of Americans without consent, a practice that critics condemned as a disturbing breach of civil liberties. Activist Post reports that privacy advocates and immigrant rights groups reacted with alarm to the documents, the release of which comes as members of Congress are increasingly raising concerns about the threat that facial recognition technology poses to civil liberties. The FBI and ICE have carried out facial recognition searches in 3 states that allow undocumented immigrants to obtain full driver's licenses. They are Utah, Vermont, and Washington. After a long dormant stretch, the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board has signaled it's ready to tackle another big review of government surveillance and overreach. The PCLOB, an independent agency in the executive branch, last published a 2014 report on warrantless surveillance of the Internet by the U.S. intelligence community. While EFF welcomes the PCLOB's efforts to bring oversight and transparency to the most controversial surveillance programs, they have disagreed with some of the board's findings, especially on surveillance under FISA Section 702. While it's a good sign that the board is turning its attention to other major issues, Activist Post reports that its mixed history means it may be a little too soon to get hopes up. This week, the board, which was created after a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission to look into the violation of civil liberties, released a strategic plan that does not shy away from investigating some of the biggest threats to privacy in the U.S. According to the document, they will be looking into the NSA's collection of phone records, facial recognition, and other biometric technologies being used in airport security. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Thank you, Jode. I appreciate you taking up this issue.
Berto, if a man ain't cooked crisp on the Hellfire Desert, ain't he ought to be left on his own?
Well, right, Jode. Immigrants are desperate for a better way of life.
We need the strongest of these crude backward browns to keep us all alive. And see, the ones that can swim the Rio Grande, too. Berto, you swum that border river to get here, ain't you?
Jode, not all Mexicans came here by swimming the Rio Grande.
No. I got sympathy. I crossed Huron Lake in a barrel myself using hands as paddles. Lived off the carp. What jumped at me? Now, you swum that river,
No,
ain't you?
Jode, actually, I was born here.
What you know about hard work? Ain't never swum no river.
Many immigrants, they
I say you
deserve
ain't
to
never
be...
knowed a man till you seen his teeth. Show him your teeth. Too many teeth rotting out shows you're dishonest in the mind. You got strong manful teeth, Bartol. I apologize.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, broadcast as always from the Liberty Radio studios here in Keene, New Hampshire. As always, I'm your host, Arya DeMezzo, author of Dancing in Hellfire, which you can find on Amazon. Joined in the studio today by...
Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
Did you happen to watch Sunday's episode?
I have not seen it yet.
Okay, well, we got into the Epstein discussion, which...
Oh, no.
Yeah, it led inexorably to a discussion of Pizzagate, which I know nothing about. By design, I'm just generally not interested in it. But I began looking into it and things like that. And anyway, during the course of the show, I ended up pissing Rich off significantly, enough for him to actually, like, storm out.
Oh, my.
Like in half an hour. Yeah.
I'm going to have to watch this now.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But there's more news to talk about on that particular note. Epstein evidently is being accused of raping a girl when she was 15 years old. I find this whole thing fascinating because the guy was already convicted of sex trafficking underage girls.
Mm-hmm.
And he only served 13 months for that.
Well, he got a real sweet plea deal on that.
He did. He got an incredible deal on that. He only had to serve 13 months. Various sources say he was allowed to spend either 16 hours or 12 hours a day in work release, which is generally not allowed for sex offenders. But hey, he's a billionaire. He was allowed to leave the country while on parole or probation, whatever it is. That I guess it was parole.
Right.
So just the whole, and it.
Oh, and
Part of the
here's
plea deal
another
can
one.
grant immunity to his co-conspirators and to all potential co-conspirators.
And after he got out, the prosecutor tried to get his sex offender status taken down.
I am not surprised at all. I mean, money talks.
The prosecutor.
Yeah, money definitely talks, and Epstein certainly has a lot of it. Now, he is also friends with some very influential people.
Oh, yes.
Like Bill Clinton, Donald Trump. I don't know about George W. Bush, interestingly enough. He's never been mentioned in regard to Epstein that
that's
I've
true.
seen.
Nor has Obama that I've seen yet.
Obama has. Well, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah,
I know Obama went to the pizzeria that spawned so much of this controversy and is, seen playing ping pong there. Is there some sort of elite pedophilia ring in the United States?
Oh, sure there is.
Really? Or I mean,
Well, you're seeing the fallout from it right here.
well, spending time with the guy doesn't necessarily mean that other people were taking part in the and I don't want to call it pedophilia because most of these girls were like 15, 16 years old.
Right.
But spending time with the guy doesn't necessarily implicate them as being, having people who have sex with underage girls.
I guess there are other reasons to talk to the guy than
Well,
than
he was a
wanting to have
donor.
sex with underage girls.
Yeah, he was a donor to their campaigns, and he was a multi-billionaire.
Oh, yeah.
I expect multi-billionaires to spend time together one way or the other. Bill Clinton, also extremely wealthy.
Yeah, it's a very small club and you're not in it.
Yeah. So, the one of the many princes of England, because they love their pomposity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He evidently was accused of having sex with an underage girl. And I really wish there was some sort of better terminology for that because I don't necessarily consider 16 to be
Teenager?
underage.
Adolescent?
Well, teenager also includes 18 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
So, and that's totally legal and totally culturally acceptable. Well, not necessarily culturally acceptable, but culturally tolerated, rather. Versus even in states where it's legal to have sex with 16-year-old girls, it's widely condemned.
Yeah, and don't take a picture of it.
No,
Just don't.
and most of the states within the continental United States, I don't know about most, but it's like 20, I think, actually have the age of consent set at 16 years old. So in most cases, it is totally legal to have sex with a 16-year-old girl.
Don't some states have it younger than that?
I don't think so.
I don't know. This is not something I pay. The age of consent does not concern me.
It does me because, as we talked about on Free Talk Live and on Call to Freedom, this is what libertarians always get hit with. This is one of the big things. Oh, you don't think murder should be illegal? Is right behind, oh, so you don't think it should be illegal to have sex with a 12-year-old? Like, to give you an example of this, I'm part of the Libertarian Party Audacious Caucus. I'm actually the second person to have been voted into the caucus unanimously, the other being Star Child.
Okay, can I just say that I don't think it should be illegal to murder the guy who has sex with a 12-year-old.
I don't think any of it should be illegal. But somebody came into the group and started making a fuss about how come you're not speaking out against raping kids or whatever. And I think it was Drew Frederick or James Weeks or someone who said, right there where it says that we don't tolerate rape or that we respect the rights of all people, regardless of age, sex, gender, or whatever. And he goes, yeah, he goes, that includes rape. So there you go. We did indeed speak out against child rape because children, like all people, have the right to not be raped. So by definition, but it didn't matter. And that became a focal point for people to come in and target us and say, oh, no, you're a bunch of pedophiles. It's like, look, we did condemn child rape. We explicitly condemned it here by pointing out that children have the same rights as everyone else, and rape is a violation of those rights. I don't know what you want from us.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
Do you want us to explicitly come out and say that raping children is bad? Because it's like right there. We're just not going to pander to you and virtue signal it when what we've already said covers it. Of course we condemn the raping of children. We condemn the raping of anyone. It's all immoral. It's all violence. It's all aggression. It's all totally unacceptable. But it doesn't matter to these people. It's rather like the word Nazi and the word racist. Any of those three allegations will just completely wreck you. And it turns the other person's mind totally off.
Well, the whole point of such accusations all too often is to just stifle discussion, to stop debate, and to end it there. Yeah. Because obviously Nazis and racists and pedophiles, if you're accused of that, your opinion doesn't count.
Yeah, if you ever want to see this in play for yourself, all you have to do is tell someone pedophilia is not objectively wrong. And it doesn't matter that that's a 100% true statement, right? It's subjectively wrong, and I agree with that subjective valuation, but that doesn't make it objective, right? My agreement with the thing isn't what determines objectivity from subjectivity. Just because it's widely agreed upon also doesn't make it objective. It just makes it widely agreed upon. So tell people that, and then watch their heads explode as they basically try to come to terms with their newfound perception of you as a child rapist. Because simply saying that, for some reason, it attacks their worldview so profoundly, because they do. And this is a increasing problem in the United States and in the West in general, where we have confused our subjective values for objective ones.
Now, most people don't understand the difference.
No, they don't. To say that pedophilia is subjectively wrong, to them, it is just the height of transgressions, because they believe, for whatever stupid reason, because as Michael pointed out, they don't know the difference, but they believe it must be objectively wrong because they feel it really, really hard. Subjectively feel it really, really hard, but subjectively all the same.
Their strong feelings is what makes it objectively real.
Yeah, that seems to be not just common among this particular subject, but common in general. We see it with the minimum wage as well, that, it doesn't matter what the actual observable effects of increasing the minimum wage are. I feel like people should have a higher standard of living.
Yeah, intentions matter, not results.
Yeah, and that seems to be the case here. Just saying that we explicitly condemned child rape would have made all of that go away. But and this is why we're the audacious caucus, every single one of us refused to simply say that. We were like, look, we're not going to do it because we've already condemned rape, and we've already pointed out that rape is a violation of the rights that all people have. End of story. This is Call to Freedom. Let us know what you think. 603-283-6160, 283-6160.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. As always, you're invited to give us a call at 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. But I want to invite you to check out local.bitcoin.com. And they are not paying me to say this, unfortunately. But it's a site that I've been using extensively for about a week now. It's for buying and selling Bitcoin Cash. It's very similar to localbitcoins.com, except it doesn't suck. And the currency in use doesn't cost you, an
arm and a leg to use.
Yeah. Screw you, Bitcoin. So local.bitcoin.com, it's got end-to-end encryption for messages between people. I have yet to run into anyone who was trying to scam me for any significant amount. I ran into a few people, and they all popped in at exactly the same time. I sell at 150% of the price of Bitcoin Cash as it's listed on Kraken, because I exclusively sell via PayPal, and that's very high risk. And so basically the whole thing works out to about a 25% profit for me, which is good. I like it. I'm very happy with that. But I have low thresholds as well. I will sell previously I would sell someone $1 of Bitcoin Cash. Well, 67 cents of Bitcoin Cash, and they paid me $1 for it.
Right.
because I understand that a lot of these countries like Venezuela, Sierra Leone, Sri Lanka, they just don't have the money to buy $40 to $100 worth of Bitcoin Cash. It just doesn't exist for them. So I'm okay doing smaller trades, except I no longer do $1 or less trades. My minimum is now $3 because I actually barely broke even.
Yeah, the PayPal fees eat up pretty much all of that.
Yeah, the PayPal fee ate up exactly 33 cents of it, which completely killed any profit I had from that transaction, which is a pain because I do have to pay quite a few fees in order to turn PayPal money back into Bitcoin Cash. The fees aren't enough that it becomes problematic, but it is when it's 67 cents, it's problematic.
Yeah,
so I increased my minimum to $3, which is still going to eat up a fair bit of it in PayPal fees, but still be profitable. So anyway, I woke up, I think it was Monday morning, to find a disputed transaction via PayPal. This is one of the scammers that people have been talking about that I've encountered before, right?
Right.
Where you sell them the Bitcoin or the Bitcoin Cash, because I no longer even use localbitcoins.com. Can't remember the last time I was on there because Bitcoin just sucks so badly compared to Bitcoin Cash. And localbitcoins.com sucks so badly compared to local.bitcoin.com that it's no freaking contest. I will vastly prefer to use local.bitcoin.com, which I really want them to add exchange.bitcoin.com to redirect to local.bitcoin.com.
Yeah, that might be helpful.
It would be so much less confusing. I understand why they went with local, right? It's to be a direct competitor with local Bitcoins. But being able to give out a different URL here on the air, exchange.bitcoin.com, no confusion in that. So anyway, I woke up with a disputed transaction via PayPal by someone that I had never even traded with, because I keep very good records of this. I don't ask for ID. I don't ask for real names. I don't ask for email address. I don't ask for phone numbers. That's why I'm allowed to get away with a 150% cost, or up to 300% in some cases. I haven't reached that threshold yet because I'm not selling quantities large enough. But yeah, if you want to buy $500 worth of Bitcoin Cash from me, you're going to pay it 300% because I'm not willing to risk losing that much money without making quite a lot of money on the successful ones. It's all about risk versus cost, you know?
Yeah.
So in order to mitigate the people who will scam me, it hasn't happened yet at local.bitcoin.com, but it will. In order to mitigate that risk, I have to charge more, right? So I was trying to figure out what happened with this person that I'd never traded with. I went back through my notes. I was like, no, I've never traded with this person. Go into local.bitcoin.com and find that this person initiated a trade with me at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I am passed the hell out at 8 o'clock in the morning. Almost nothing would wake me up at that point. And it's not like I'm a heavy sleeper or anything like that, but that's like right when I'm hitting REM sleep. So I logged in to local.bitcoin.com and found this guy had initiated a trade with me, and then without hearing a thing from me, without me placing the Bitcoin Cash into escrow or anything, he just ups and sends me money via PayPal. So my first reaction was to contact him. No response. So I was like, all right, well, I want to get this over with. So I'm just going to send him the Bitcoin Cash, and then I can work this out with PayPal, because it's no longer as simple as, oh, I want to dispute this transaction. Now I get my money back. No, now the seller, who is me, has to actually offer a refund before they get their money back. So there is a little bit more protection now than there used to be. So I was like, I'm just going to send him the Bitcoin Cash. I can get him to close the dispute, and I can carry on with my life. But he didn't know how to close the dispute. At this point,
yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, at this point, I'm getting a little nervous because this guy has not paid me, strictly speaking. He can get the money back more easily than I can get the money, at the very least. And he has the Bitcoin Cash. So there's no reason for this guy to ever communicate with me again. You know, he got me. Mostly because I had just woke up, and my first thought was, oh, this is going to destroy my reputation. And I didn't want that. That to me was more important than the Bitcoin Cash and the dollar amount that he was buying it for. But over the course of like the next 4 hours, he came back online and he started communicating with me, attempted to close out the dispute, didn't know how. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to offer you a refund, right? I will refund this to you. You send me back the Bitcoin Cash. Here's my phone number. Give me a call so that we can actually work this out. So he actually called.
Wow.
Yeah. I gave him the refund. He accepted it. And at this point, I was sure he was just going to hang up. Right? Because why wouldn't he? He had the money. He had the Bitcoin Cash. Making a new local.bitcoin.com account would have taken him 3 minutes because most of the people that I trade with have zero trade history.
Yeah, everyone's new on this site.
Well, not me.
Well, almost everyone.
I'm number one in the PayPal category, by the way. Number one seller.
Nice.
I'm thrilled about that. Not necessarily the highest volume, but by far the most popular, which I love, and I'm going to keep that going because this is the time to do it, right? The site just launched a month and 6 days ago. If you want to be the top seller in a category, start doing it right now and squeeze out your competition. That's the amazing thing. Do you know what squeezed out my competition despite the fact that I'm charging like 40 to 50% more than they are? It's the no KYC.
Oh, yeah.
The guy in second place now, despite having more trades than me, he's less popular because he wants you to send him a picture of a screenshot of your PayPal balance, a picture of your photo ID, your name, and a selfie with your ID in it. And I'm like, I want you to
go through it all.
And then, of course, send him the money via PayPal, writing in, this money is for Bitcoin Cash, no refunds. And I'm like, look, just send me the freaking money via PayPal, and I will give you the Bitcoin Cash. That's why I'm the number one seller now. Yep. So anyway, I want to finish this story real quick because it's quite interesting. We'll be back in just a moment. This is the Call to Freedom, 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Do you ever say, I could care less, when you really mean the opposite? You mean to say, I couldn't care less. It's a common mistake. You are judged by how you speak, especially if you're looking for work, with so many more applicants than openings now. But even if you're not, avoiding common misstatements will help you make the most of the dozens of conversations and transactions that crowd your daily routine. So whatever you say, don't say whatever as a single word sentence. It's the most annoying expression in the American English language, according to a recent poll. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. But seriously, at the end of the day, you'll want to avoid this scenario, sounding like everyone else. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And I want to tell you about the Rational Review News Digest. It's located at rationalreview.com, and it's the Freedom Movement's daily news digest, aggregating stories from all over the internet. They include podcasts, blogs, news articles, and more. And for some reason, even though I've got this memorized, it's all totally out of my head right now. So go check. It's great. Rationalreview.com. Definitely sign up for it. It's freaking wonderful. So anyway, let me wrap up real quickly the story about local.bitcoin.com. The guy called me unexpectedly, and at this point, he's got both the money via PayPal and the Bitcoin Cash. So I sent him my wallet. And I was like, well, here's my wallet address. And bam, he sent me the Bitcoin Cash right back.
Wow.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, I cannot believe this actually played out well. This is the way that business relationships should function. There was an issue. We resolved it. And then I believe, I'd have to check my records, I believe we ended up with him opening up a new trade and just starting over from the beginning.
And that all went through fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I understand why he disputed it, but that's one of the issues I have with local.bitcoin.com. I feel like it doesn't make it clear enough to people that if it's in their off hours, you really can't expect a response to happen in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. People got to sleep sometime.
And a lot of these people aren't even willing to wait 5 minutes. Like during the first segment of the show, I received a trade offer from someone who was attempting to buy some Bitcoin Cash from me. By the time we came to commercial, 7 minutes later, this guy had gone offline. I sent him a message saying, hey, just verifying you're online before I move this into escrow, because although it's not expensive to move Bitcoin Cash around this way, it ties it up for a minimum of 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it does cost some amount of Bitcoin Cash. I'm not interested in watching all of my Bitcoin Cash be whittled away by funding escrows that never actually are purchased. Just not interested in that.
Yeah, I don't like to lose money either. Nobody does.
A lot of these people just will not wait 5 minutes. If you're not right there at your phone, you can forget it. It's like, people, we are busy, right? I have a job to do, multiple jobs to do, in addition to just, I'm not sitting here staring at my phone or my computer 24/7. Mm-hmm. So it allows you to post when you're making your trade offers, which sort of exist perpetually unless you pause them or take them down. It allows you to set your hours. Well, my hours are currently 11 a.m. to 5 a.m. because that's more or less when I'm awake. Right. Sometimes I go to sleep earlier than that, and sometimes, like today, I wake up later than that. But in general, it's 11 to 5 a.m. which I wasn't sure how that was actually going to be translated by their system. I didn't want it to set my hours at, 5 a.m. to 11 a.m., but luckily their system is smart enough that it knew, okay, so this bitch just sleeps at weird times and not very many hours of it. Cool. But it doesn't seem to matter to people. They will open trades with me at 8 o'clock in the morning. I had 6
How do they even find your listing at 8 o'clock? It shouldn't be showing it at that time.
I don't mind that it shows it at that time because I might,
you're in off hours.
It is, but it's money to be made. So if I hear my phone and I wake up and want to deal with it, I want that opportunity to be there,
Yeah.
I don't mind that it does it. I just wish people were more patient about it because it does specifically state that, hey, this is outside the seller's normal hours. Expect it to take a little bit longer than necessary. So 6 trades went by this morning between like 8 and 10:30. And when I finally woke up at about 11:30, the most recent trade was still active. The rest had been canceled, but it didn't matter. Dude was offline. That was it. End of story.
Oh,
so
well.
I canceled that one as well and just went about my life. It's so really awesome. And I spoke to Roger Ver yesterday offering a suggestion because this is, I did run into one scammer, one obviously a scammer type of person.
Oh, yeah? What'd they do? How'd they try to scam you?
He attempted to buy $40 worth of Bitcoin Cash. No, it was $50 worth of Bitcoin Cash. And, well, actually, I guess it was $33-ish of Bitcoin Cash. But he was trying to pay me $50,
right,
basically.
Right.
And I only accept PayPal. He didn't send me money via PayPal. He used Chime, which is something that I'd never heard of
I've never
prior to
even
this.
heard of that. What is that?
It's I don't know because I didn't look into it. I just said I'm not clicking that link. You have not paid me via PayPal. You marked the transaction as paid. It isn't paid. I'm filing a dispute. He sent me a screenshot. Looks suspiciously like a PayPal screenshot of having sent money. It looks almost identical. So he sent me that. And of course, this isn't my first rodeo, man.
Yeah, I don't care about your screenshot. I ignore those.
Yeah, your screenshot means nothing to me. Until I get those 2 little P's pop up in my notification, you are not getting anything. And that was never going to happen. But I got an email from something that looked very much like PayPal. I opened it up. It looked very much like PayPal saying, you have funds, whatever, and here's your $50. But if you looked a little bit more closely, because again, this isn't my first rodeo, I knew something was odd when I didn't get the 2 little P's up there. It's offering you the opportunity to create an account with Chime, and then you can receive your money.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's not the payment method I put in.
No, it may or may not be a legitimate thing. It may or may not be a competitor to PayPal. I don't know, and I don't care. I stated PayPal. That's all I will take. I suppose if you want to offer me something else and you're local, I will do that. But, I mean, there's no point in going through local.bitcoin in order to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I might take a Venmo because I just got their MasterCard, and so I can spend that instantly. So
you can use Venmo at local.bitcoin.com.
Yeah.
There's a category for you, so you don't have to compete with me. So it's all really cool, and I love it. So anyway, I opened a dispute to call in an arbitrator. I was posted the screenshots. Of course, this provides them with access to the messages, which they don't ordinarily have. But because of the smart contract system, once a dispute opens, it does release the keys to that conversation, which is encrypted, so they'll need the keys in order to read it to an arbitrator. The arbitrator never actually got involved because it normally takes them an hour or 2 to respond because the other guy canceled the trade. Well, there you go, man.
There you have it.
You're an obvious scammer. Get off of this site.
We're not falling for it.
So I posted to the local.bitcoin Telegram chat right after I saw Ver enter the conversation. I was like, hey, man, what do you think about this? We need some way because you can't rate anyone. You can't give feedback on them unless you complete a trade with them. Well, that's obviously a problem because I'm not completing a trade with a freaking obvious scammer. But I still need to flag this guy and make people aware that this guy is a pretty obvious scammer, and here are the screenshots to prove it. So that should be implemented soon.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
I don't know how soon or anything like that. And I think, conversely, there should be some sort of punishment for sellers who repeatedly what my suggestion was to form a distinction between a canceled trade and an aborted trade. A canceled one is one that happens in the first stage before the funds are moved to escrow. An aborted trade is any that happens after that, which makes sense because by that point, it is being aborted. It's an active trade that is being aborted.
Yeah, one or more parties are not going through with the trade.
Yeah, and at that point, I think that either the seller or the buyer should take some sort of reputation hit, because at that point, either the buyer has lost money, however negligible, or the seller has lost money, however negligible. So they have literally cost someone else some amount of money. There should be some sort of consequence for that. You shouldn't just get to do that and walk away scot-free. This is why my first thing when I receive a new trade is to go online and send a message that says, hi. Until I see seen pop underneath it, I'm not putting my money into escrow. I'm just not. Sorry. You should click read messages and verify with me that you're actually online. So, because otherwise I will receive a trade request and somebody will close out their web browser and will pop back in 3 or 4 days later. You know, I'm not dealing with that, and I'm not going to have my Bitcoin Cash tied up for 45 minutes waiting on you to remember that you initiated a trade with me. So these are all things that will be worked out. It is a very new platform, but it's an absolutely wonderful platform. It's local.bitcoin.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Free Talk Live.
The reason why I reject violence, and part of that is there's a humility in it, and that you have to acknowledge that I may not be right. You know, I want to have an open discussion with people. Let's talk this stuff out. I'm not going to impose my views on you with violence, because I will not presume to be so right that I'm just going to force my views on you.
In addition, if your views are so valid and so great, then you shouldn't have to force them on anybody. Then you should be able to persuade folks.
Right. This is truly the acid test of a good idea. If it's a good idea to educate everybody, then you should be able to do it in a free market. If it's a good idea
without force,
right? Without
that's
force.
if you've got enough persuasive ability to convince a majority of people to vote to violently fund something, you've got enough potential to motivate that many people to contribute toward it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And if you've ever wanted to have sex with prostitutes and then arrest them, or bust people for drugs and then sell the drugs on the side for a nice little bonus, just in general, enjoy the power rush of being a cop without all the paperwork, then you should try the Thin Blue Line game, which you can find at thinbluelinegame.com. It's the only card game in the world that allows you to shoot someone over a broken taillight and then escape accountability with the magical phrase, "I feared for my life." Typical cop stuff. Get it now at thinbluelinegame.com. Assault and battery is not included. But if you use the coupon code CTF, you can get all shipping costs waived. So go get it. Again, that's thinbluelinegame.com. I have been watching irregularly, because it's not like I sit around watching these, but when cop videos enter my Facebook feed, even though I'm banned, I still browse it occasionally to get news and stuff like that. It's intense to watch these things. And I don't know if I'm alone in this or not, but my heart starts beating fast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I get angry and upset, and I wanted to just, I don't know.
Yeah. I watched one yesterday of a school teacher in New Mexico who went through a Border Patrol checkpoint and refused to answer the question about whether or not she was an American citizen.
They don't like that very much.
No, they don't. And according to the law, you do have to answer that question. You don't have to answer any other questions, but you do have to answer that one. But she refused to, and they were like, well, look, you're going to be detained here until you answer the question. Wow. Talk about police state, right?
Right.
But she was like, that's fine. I'm on vacation. I've got time. And so she ended up sitting out there for, I think it was about an hour and a half before they finally was just like, send her on. She's not cooperating. And this is not worth it. This is a blonde woman from New Mexico. She is so obviously an American citizen. And I don't mean to be racist about it, but yeah, blonde chick from New Mexico with an American accent. She's an American, man. She's a citizen. Just leave her the hell alone. But it didn't matter. They got to do their little thing. And she was like, do you have, can you show me where you have the authority to ask me this question? And he pulls out this nice little printout, very similar to our own little cop block printouts, except ours are actually useful. And his was just a bunch of, I can do what I want because I want.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've got 700,000 pages worth of that stuff.
Yeah, they do. And then there was an even more jarring one where a 21-year-old went through a DUI checkpoint and only rolled his window down about 6 inches. And the cop said, roll your window down the rest of the way. He was like, no, I'm not going to. I can hear you just fine. You can hear me just fine. I can pass everything that I need to through this window. He was like, no, pull over here. So they ended up asking to search the vehicle. Of course, the guy said, no, I do not consent to this. So they brought over one of their dogs, which I think the latest information on it shows that they reveal false positives about 80% of the time.
Yep, sounds about right.
And what this guy suggested in this video was that the dog had actually been trained to give false positives on command.
That would not surprise me either.
By the officer tapping the window saying, check here. That apparently is some sort of cue for the dog to show that he smells drugs. Even though it's really obvious when you watch the video that the dog wasn't even sniffing, he was just following the hand of the cop. But evidently it marked the vehicle. So they opened it up and started searching for these drugs that weren't there, and they found his cell phone sitting there recording the incident. And what did they do? They turned it face down in the seat so that it could no longer record the incident. And you don't see anything else after that. Evidently, they found no drugs. Guy is lucky that they didn't find any drugs. But what was amazing was the cop knelt down initially while searching the vehicle and said something like, oh, he's not doing anything wrong. He's an American citizen and he knows his rights. But then they searched his vehicle. It is absolutely disgusting. And that's
the thing. If you're an American citizen and you know your rights and you actually attempt to use your rights, the police will go haywire.
Yeah, they absolutely will. You can even hear in the video where the guy says, no, I have the constitutional right to do this or to do that or to not do this or to not do that. And the cop goes, your constitutional rights don't matter here. The cop is on video saying that to an American citizen. And people are like, no, this isn't a police state problem. No, it's absolutely a police state problem. There are checkpoints everywhere, all across the United States, DUI checkpoints, Border Patrol checkpoints. And it doesn't really seem to matter what your rights actually are when you go through one of these things. As much as I hate Steven Anderson for being a transphobic piece of crap who regularly says that trans people should kill themselves while giving sermons to his church, he went through one of these Border Patrol checkpoints and he tried to exercise his rights, and he was pulled out of his car and beaten.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah. I hate to say that dude had it coming, but if you are familiar with some of the absolutely hateful things he says, I don't feel bad that it happened. I feel bad because it's an example of the police state.
I feel bad that it happened, but I don't quite feel as bad that it happened to him specifically.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, if it was going to happen to someone, he's kind of the guy that I wouldn't particularly mind it happening to.
Karma works in mysterious ways.
It does. But of course, when they want to, they don't actually do anything about, actual criminals. Like we've been talking about Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, who was arrested in like 2005 to 2007. I don't remember the exact year. Yeah. For sexually trafficking minors. Got a sweet plea deal. Look, this dude was sex trafficking underage girls. He did less time and had a significantly better deal than Ross Ulbricht, who didn't sex traffic anyone. All he did was have a website.
Yeah, make a website, try to help people. Yeah.
And so now
double life sentence.
And now an accuser of billionaire Jeffrey Epstein said Tuesday that she was recruited outside of high school when she was 14 years old before being allegedly raped a year later. Now, my first question would be, and I hate to ask this, but was she actually raped? Or is she now looking back at this and saying, no, I was 15 years old and that's automatically rape? Because those are two very different things. It says she was recruited and a year later she was raped. I think that probably means that she was recruited and a year later she had sex with him.
I don't know. This is a new story for me. I only saw the headline like 5 minutes before the show, so I don't know all the details. But yeah, that does seem to happen sometimes where someone who is 14, 15 years old has sex so-called consensually, and then because it's illegal later, they decide, they were raped.
Yeah, I would say that, they probably can have sex consensually at that age, but...
Well, the law says they can't consent.
Well, the law says that we owe them money for existing, so screw the law. I'm more interested in what's right and wrong than what is legal and illegal.
There you go.
Jennifer, now 32, told NBC News anchor Savannah Guthrie that a young woman recruited her outside of a New York City performing arts high school that she attended in 2001 and then brought her to Epstein's Manhattan townhouse just blocks away. She was definitely trying to get to know me, trying to find out where I was from, where I grew up, who I lived with. I just took her name away. She's got a complicated last name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce, so she's just Jennifer. Jennifer said that the woman described Epstein as wealthy and a great guy who could help her with her career. Jennifer said...
she's 14. Help her with her career?
Well, she was in a performing arts school. So
Oh,
she
yeah,
was
okay,
trying to go into some kind of performing arts.
Okay, that makes sense.
Jennifer said that during her first few visits to Epstein's house, they talked about things like her dream of being on Broadway and her late father. Well, you never want to tell a pedophile about your daddy issues. She added that the first time they were alone, Epstein gave her a tour of the mansion and took her to his favorite room in the house, a room with a massage table on the floor and a painting of a naked woman on the wall. It was here that Jennifer alleges Epstein raped her at 15 years old. He raped me, forcefully raped me. Okay, well, that would actually qualify as rape.
Yeah, bet it would.
Adding that he knew exactly what he was doing. I was terrified and I was telling him to stop. Please stop. He did not stop. He had no intentions of stopping, and that's what he wanted. That's what he got. Jennifer is one of more than 30 girls who have now accused Epstein of sexual assault. A lot of these girls, it's very strange. It seems that despite after being released from his comfy little luxurious jail, because it was a comfy little luxurious jail.
And he was hardly in jail at all. He would sleep there overnight and then go to work in the daytime like nothing changed.
Yeah. Work during the daytime, in quotation marks.
Well, it's office anyway.
It would seem that he continued with his old tricks once he was out. I think that appears to be what the allegation is. Otherwise, it's just double jeopardy. And even the federal government can't do that. They'll try. This is Call to Freedom, 283-610-603-283-6160.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,397. Silver at $15.10, and Bitcoin is trading around $12,436. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a recently published U.S. Internal Revenue Service slide describes alarming recommendations on how tax agents should deal with digital currency users who are not paying taxes. The slide recommends that agents question crypto users' friends and family, comb through social media posts, and issue subpoenas to make sure United States residents are paying taxes on their cryptocurrencies. Activist Post reports the slide follows the IRS's recently announcing tax guidelines on cryptocurrencies, which will contain rules about the tax treatment of digital assets and forks. Even though the new tax guidelines have not been issued to the public, IRS agents who enforce the tax laws have had no problems prosecuting Bitcoin users for tax evasion. The recently published slide gives a lot of detail on how agents should combat crypto tax evaders by using a variety of investigation methods. Within the 181-page document, there are thorough descriptions of what a cryptocurrency is and chronicled paragraphs on assets like Ripple and Bitcoin. The report discusses a myriad of digital currencies, and the descriptive study even calls certain hardware wallet users fanboys. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A trove of public records obtained by privacy experts at Georgetown Law revealed that ICE and the FBI have used facial recognition technology to mine state driver's license databases for information on millions of Americans without consent, a practice that critics condemned as a disturbing breach of civil liberties. Activist Post reports that privacy advocates and immigrant rights groups reacted with alarm to the documents, the release of which comes as members of Congress are increasingly raising concerns about the threat that facial recognition technology poses to civil liberties. The FBI and ICE have carried out facial recognition searches in 3 states that allow undocumented immigrants to obtain full driver's licenses. They are Utah, Vermont, and Washington. After a long dormant stretch, the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board has signaled it's ready to tackle another big review of government surveillance and overreach. The PCLOB, an independent agency in the executive branch, last published a 2014 report on warrantless surveillance of the Internet by the U.S. intelligence community. While EFF welcomes the PCLOB's efforts to bring oversight and transparency to the most controversial surveillance programs, they have disagreed with some of the board's findings, especially on surveillance under FISA Section 702. While it's a good sign that the board is turning its attention to other major issues, Activist Post reports that its mixed history means it may be a little too soon to get hopes up. This week, the board, which was created after a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission to look into the violation of civil liberties, released a strategic plan that does not shy away from investigating some of the biggest threats to privacy in the U.S. According to the document, they will be looking into the NSA's collection of phone records, facial recognition, and other biometric technologies being used in airport security. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
After a flood of customer complaints, Kay Jewelers issued an immediate recall this week of over 2 million cursed engagement and wedding rings. The company's director of public relations released an apology to those afflicted.
I can assure our customers that we were not aware our manufacturers were sourcing diamonds tainted by the darkling Urla. We're strongly recommending customers who have not yet returned their purchases for a full refund to place a mirror in a bowl of black salt, mold a poppet in your image out of clay and your lover's hair, and then burn the poppet in the mirror before the next full moon.
Industry experts are calling this the most egregious safety oversight in jewelry production since 1973, when Zales disturbed the grave of the 16th century sorcerer Maelor.
Sometimes I wake up and I'm trapped in this oil painting of a German village.
They told us that there was a 68% chance that our child would be born with no soul. They sent us this disclaimer suggesting we leave the changeling in the wood and return only at our own peril.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. As always, I'm your host, Arya DeMezzo, composer of the music that you're hearing. You can listen to it at soundcloud.com/Arya DeMezzo. With me in the studio today, of course, is
Michael Hampton from CryptoTip.org.
And we've been talking about Jeffrey Epstein and his rapes of various people, but I mean, it's time to move on from that. There was actually a story that I wanted to cover on Free Talk Live that we didn't get into because we started talking about age of consent, which immediately kills most episodes. Duterte, or Duterte, whatever the hell his name is.
The dictator of the Philippines?
Yeah, the lunatic. The one who used to be gay, but cured himself. That guy.
Yeah, he cured himself by just not doing it publicly anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you take the wieners out of your mouth, you are less gay at that moment than you were when they were in your mouth. So, I guess, congratulations, you're cured. Hey, I haven't had sex in like 24 hours. I'm cured too. I had to do some quick math on that. Actually, it's 22 hours. But anyway, President, I'm just going to call him Duterte because Duterte is a bit, I don't think that's probably what it is. On Friday, dared the United States to declare war against China, which has been increasing its power projection capabilities in the south of China, parts of which is the West Philippine Sea. Now, I'm confused about whether or not he's taking China's side or the United States side.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to get at here.
In a speech, Duterte slammed the U.S. for treating the Philippines as bait and for egging us. Well, yeah, I mean, you are the American bait sitting out there by China.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're kind of talking about geography here, and the U.S. did not place the Philippines where it is.
No, but
the planet did that.
But the U.S. did take over, in quotation marks, because I mean, they're basically a self-ruling colony, I would argue. The United States government, they did do that in order to, keep China at bay. The same reason they wanted to, help out South Korea and South Vietnam. Now, I said the U.S. should send their attack aircraft and warships to China and fire the first shot and will position at the back. Go ahead, go to war, and let's see who will be defeated, Duterte said in a mix of English and Filipino. They said we have a USRP pact. Okay, let America declare the war. Let them assemble all their armaments there in the South China Sea. Fire the first shot, and I'll be glad to do the next. Referring to the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. So it sounds like he may actually want this, and it's not so much a dare as it is a request.
He actually wants the U.S. to go to war with China?
Well, he's saying they will honor their agreement to the Mutual Defense Treaty that for whatever stupid, asinine reason the United States has with this tiny little, barely militarily capable island surrounded by freaking Chinese forces. He's saying they will honor it. The Philippines claims part of the South China Sea within its exclusive economic zones and calls it the West Philippine Sea. Ties between China and the Philippines soured after the previous Aquino administration filed a case in 2013 with a United Nations-backed tribunal. The ruling, which favors Manila, the Philippines, was handed down a few days after Duterte assumed the presidency. But China vehemently rejected the landmark decision, which Duterte put on the back burner in exchange for warmer ties and Chinese funding for his administration's ambitious infrastructure programs. Duterte has been under fire over his apparent refusal to confront China. I can't say I blame him. China is big, and China is powerful.
You're tiny, they're humongous, and they can squash you like a bug whenever they want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you're at when you're the Philippines. So
the United States could indeed fight China. It would be a horrific war, and I don't want it to happen ever. But the United States, in theory, could fight against China. But the Philippines? No, they'd be overrun within a week. Critics have recently voiced anger over a Chinese trawler's failure to rescue the 22 Filipino fishermen after what some Philippine officials have called a hit-and-run incident.
Ooh.
A link to that would have been freaking fantastic. Why didn't they give me a link to that?
Because they're old school journalists and don't understand the internet.
I guess so. When Duterte made his first public comments about the June the 9th incident, the usually outspoken leader downplayed the sinking and reiterated that his country was not ready to go to war against China. Although it is not a party to the maritime row, Washington has been infuriating China for repeatedly sending warships close to Chinese-controlled reefs. Well, am I misremembering? Wasn't there some sort of military confrontation between China and the United States recently? Didn't they fire at an American battleship?
Yeah, I think there was something like that. I also don't remember all the details, but yeah, there was some kind of little dust up.
We do have a listener, a Japanese American listener, who knows significantly more about this entire subject than we do.
Yeah, the problem is with our new time, it's like 5 a.m. in Tokyo. So,
well, he's Japanese American. I don't think he resides in Japan.
He's here,
but he probably is not aware of the new time slot. He'll probably tune in at 6 o'clock and be like, "Where the hell is my show?" Because I have not done a particularly great job of getting that information out there, but I like it because now Call to Freedom for me it's on my back burner. It's not a daily obligation, a daily priority that just totally
overwhelming.
Yeah. But he alleged several months ago that this entire thing with the South China Sea and the United States being, quote, aggressive is how I have always characterized it, because it's the South China Sea, right? And we're over there with warships and battleships and submarines going, no, you can't have the South China Sea.
Yeah, let China sail some ships to within 20 miles of San Diego and see how the U.S. reacts.
Yeah. So I'm largely ignorant of the entire geopolitical thing, but evidently a lot of it has to do with Japan and China's evident plan to cut off Japan from the rest of the world. And this is the reason for their expansions into the South China Sea.
Well, China and Japan have been kind of at each other's throats for centuries.
Oh, they absolutely have. Well, I don't know how much China has actually antagonized Japan, but Japan during World War II did some pretty horrific things to China. I don't know, and I don't think it really matters who was right and who was wrong in the past. What matters now is that Japan, at the very least, does not appear to be attempting to start a war with China. While China, based on what I've been told, because I'm certainly not an expert in East Asian politics and the geopolitical structure, China appears to be attempting to cut Japan off from the wider world via the sea. And of course, this expansion would also affect the Philippines, who are American allies. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't particularly care, except that I think it's bad for everyone. The United States and China, relations have been souring between these two military behemoths for quite some time. And the United States are cowards. If there was any balls whatsoever within the American government, they would have attacked and invaded China the moment we heard about the Uyghur population being rounded up and put into re-education camps in the millions and being tortured and killed.
If you want a reason to go to war, there's one right there.
Yeah, if ever there was a casus belli, a justified war, that would probably be it. I mean, that's how we justified the invasion of Nazi Germany. Is that, oh, they were taking over all of this land, they were oppressing people, they were killing people. Okay, well, not to point out the elephant in the room here, but China is doing that right now. But you know what? So is the United States. So
that's true.
I'm not sure the American government actually has the high ground at this point to say, oh yeah, but we're not rounding people up and killing them, because the American government is running concentration camps all throughout the United States. And they're just not calling them concentration camps. This is called a freedom
and liberate us.
Let us know what you think. 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. As always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160, or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, moving right along, or right back into Jeffrey Epstein. Evidently, police have broken into his mansion and searched it and found some weird stuff. It's not surprising. He seems like a pretty weird dude. Some of it is stuff that I would do, however. So I can't really criticize. If I was a billionaire, I would do some weird stuff too. I would not have sex with underage girls, to be clear. That does not qualify as weird, in my opinion. That's just shady and probably immoral.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there.
But weird? Certainly. So federal agents who searched the East Manhattan mansion of wealthy sex offender Jeffrey Epstein turned up a vast trove of lewd photographs of young-looking girls, including hundreds of meticulously labeled nude pictures locked in a safe, according to federal court documents. So that's proof of his age right there, that they didn't find a flash drive with these photos on it. They found actual, like, Polaroids.
Printed photos. Yeah. Who does that anymore? I mean, that's 20th century right there.
Evidently, 66-year-old billionaires do that. The description, laid out in a memo by prosecutors from the Southern District of New York, was aimed at convincing a federal judge that Epstein, who was arrested July the 6th, upon return from Paris on his private jet, should not be freed pending trial on charges of sex trafficking. Agents used crowbars to force open the front door of the 7-story Upper East Side mansion.
Wow.
I got to tell you, I've been an underage person before. I think it's fair to say most of us have. And if I had been a girl then, let's not even get into that, but if I had been a girl, a 15-year-old girl then, and he was like, look, I'm going to help you and do all of this, and I'll pay you $5,000 or whatever. Come by my 7-story mansion in East Manhattan. I'd be like, okay, yeah, we can do this. Sorry. But I would have.
Yeah, there probably are teenage girls that would actually go for that.
And, you know, this is part of the discussion that we were having on Free Talk Live, is that, you know, say, oh, but you were 15 or 14, you wouldn't have been able to consent. But look, when I was 9 years old, I twice made the decision to stab a grown man who was beating my mother. You mean to tell me that I could make that decision because I had to, right? There was no one else who was going to do anything about it. It was 100% on me. I could make a decision like that, but I couldn't make a decision about whether or not to have sex with someone. One of those two things is significantly more traumatic than the other.
Indeed.
But no, you triggered our age mental fabrication device, and now you're a pedophile. You're encouraging pedophilia and all this other nonsense simply for pointing out that, look, it's not the number of times that the earth has revolved around the sun that makes a person mature and capable of making decisions. It's experience. It's life. And there is some correlation, obviously, between having lived a long time or a longer time and having acquired more experience in dealing with difficult situations. But it's not one-to-one. It's not a direct correlation. People who are 9, 10 years old, in many cases, have significantly more life experience than people who are 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, but, you know, it's all about averages, and it's the law, where you have to draw the line somewhere, right?
I don't think we do. I don't think it's helpful. I think that all of this should be taken on a case-by-case basis. You say, okay, well, this girl who ran away from her stepdad who was raping her when she was 14 years old found her way to Epstein, who gave her, I don't know, let's say $700 to have sex with her. Okay, I'm going to say that she was probably capable of consenting to that. I'm not going to say that she was capable, but I'm not going to simply say that she wasn't because of some arbitrary number.
Right.
Yeah. It sounds to me in that particular case, and I don't even know if anyone like this has come forward, but it sounds to me like in that particular example that I just outlined, the girl would almost certainly be capable of having had lived a life that gave her the experience and the maturity necessary to make that sort of decision in the first place. Not all of us live comfy little lives that shelter us and keep us from having to face the world until we're 24, 25 years old.
Most of us are not sheltered little Puritans.
No, a lot of us are just thrown right into the thick of things at very early ages where you have to do a thing. And why? Why in God's name do we treat the decision to have sex like it's some sort of monumental, life-changing thing? Like on dlive.lrn.fm, we were having this discussion again on Monday night and a Sunday afternoon, because this is going to consume probably the next week of LRN material by far. And we were having this discussion, and someone said, because when I was 13, I lost my virginity to an 18-year-old. And somebody asked me on D-Live, did you feel ready? What the hell does that mean? I wasn't ready. I wasn't unready. I wanted to do a thing, so I did a thing. That was the end of it. It's not like, oh, am I ready for this monumental, life-changing decision? I was no more ready to have sex than I was to learn how to skateboard or to learn how to play the guitar. I just wanted to do it, so I went and did it. I don't think being ready factored into it. And worth noting, for those people who just got really upset envisioning me at 13 years old being preyed upon by an 18-year-old, I was a 13-year-old dude having sex with an 18-year-old chick.
Okay.
That totally changes people's perspectives on it. Because suddenly, oh, well, that couldn't possibly. They're like, yeah, go you.
So wait, why is it different when the genders are reversed?
I have no idea, but it absolutely is. It's all over American society, and we see it. We've joked about it. With the idea, Ryan Ramsey, when he made this exact point about how Joshua Smith had fingered him in the butt without his permission. Yes, it didn't really happen, but Ryan Ramsey did really say that it happened. He was specifically trying to make the point that I will laugh at that, and we will all laugh at that and joke about it. But if the roles were reversed, if Ryan Ramsey was a woman, we would absolutely condemn Joshua Smith. We'd be like, no, he's the devil. He penetrated this woman bodily against her will. But when it's Ryan Ramsey or some other guy, we laugh about it. Like the guy who had a gun held on him by 3 women who raped him. We tend to laugh about that. And I'm not laughing about it right now because that's pretty jarring.
I don't know. I don't tend to laugh about that.
I don't think I laughed about that either. But there were plenty of people who did laugh about that. They were like, oh, yeah, he was raped. I was like,
at gunpoint.
But he was raped, right? At gunpoint. And you have stories of, 14, 15-year-old girls having sex with their 27, 28-year-old high school teachers. Oh, no, someone's going to prison. But if you have a 14, 15-year-old boy having sex with his 27, 28-year-old female high school teacher, everybody's response goes, nice. And that's generally my response to it as well.
What's with the double standard?
Because I remember being that age, and we did have some fairly hot teachers that I absolutely would have had sex with, and that I would have liked to have had sex with. But double standards being what they are, it's just a total mess. This is Call to Freedom. Let us know what you think. 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin.
Filed. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Now, as alluded to, we've been talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and we mentioned some of his weird stuff in his mansion without actually getting into what the weird stuff found in his mansion has been. So let's actually get into that. While investigators were still reviewing the material, the memo said one of the girls, according to her attorney, was underage at the time the relevant photographs were taken. Now, this may actually be, and I'm not condoning any of this, but this may be an advantage to actually not having these in digital form, right? You can't identify the date that a photograph was taken via
a physical piece of paper.
Yeah. But I mean, with the digital thing, oh yeah, that date created, it cannot be changed. You can alter it if you know what you're doing. You can, copy and paste it, create a new one. Delete the old one, bam, date created is what you want it to be. But in general, and even then, a lot of times there are still ways to fish that information out. I wouldn't want to put the IT knowledge of a 66-year-old man against the IT knowledge of the FBI.
No.
Basically. There's more than likely going to be ways to recover that information. I've never had to look into it because I don't do shady stuff like this, but I have taken photographs of myself that weren't exactly recent, and when somebody like on Grindr or something like that wants a recent pic of me, I'm like, well, I look exactly the same as I did 2 years ago, but I'm not fixing to sit here and take a new selfie. Here's this best selfie I've taken of me. I'm going to send you that. And might have to modify the date created or whatever on it in order to pass it off as something recent.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the most, and sure, I guess you could call that fraudulent, but I mean, it's my physical appearance. It really hasn't changed, at least in the face. It really hasn't changed a lot. So
yeah, not much. I mean, you dye your hair every once in a while, but
yeah, I need to do it again as well. I'm thinking about going with a sort of neon green this time.
Yeah, that
finally moving away from the
hell.
red. Yeah, I mean, it's still there, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted. Not by any means. And what's amazing is that this came out as dark blue, but it was supposed to be turquoise. So it was supposed to be very vibrant. And it's the same brand of hair dye that I used to make it red. So I expected vibrancy.
Yeah, that fell flat.
Yeah, but the red fell flat too, I noticed. It's normally vibrant for several months. Well, maybe not several months, but it's normally vibrant
Several
for quite a
weeks, at
while
least, yeah.
after dyeing it. This time, it faded down to a sort of dark, washed out red very, very quickly. I don't know. Maybe it was just old dye. I don't know, but it's definitely time to do it again. I might, in fact, do it tonight. I'm not sure. It's kind of an early night at work, so it's probably a good time for it, considering it takes like 6 hours to do this. This is why I don't do it like every 3 weeks or whatever, like one should, because it takes 6 hours.
That's quite a while.
Yeah, first I have to bleach it, then get all of the bleach out. The bleach, because my hair is naturally dark, although it's red now. My hair thinks it's red now. I'm not even joking. For my current job, initially I had to dye my hair a natural color, which proved to be difficult. In the bleaching process, well, hold up, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. I had to bleach it not bleach it, I had to dye it like 3 times to get it to become a shade of brown. And it did become very, very close to my natural hair color, close enough that nobody even noticed roots coming in because it just looked so identical. But then finally they were like, oh yeah, you can have red hair again. Oh, that day, I went and bought the freaking red hair dye.
That day, yeah.
I missed my freaking hair. This is my hair, right? Which is why I might not do it blue, because I've had this color hair for such a long time.
Yeah, you are so recognizable.
Yeah, there's also that. But when I bleached it, right, to re-dye it red, it didn't come out brown. It didn't come out anything near my natural color. And this is just after bleaching it. It came out pink. it came out exactly like it would if I was to bleach it right now. And that was so bizarre to me that it basically meant that I had had my hair dyed this shade of red for such a long time that it was the base color of those particular strands of hair. Wow. And that there was no way to recover the brown underneath because that brown just wasn't there anymore. It was red. So I'm considering doing an entirely different color, but this is what, when people see this hair, they go, oh, that's Aria. Yep. So I may stick with it for the time being. I don't know. I want to do something different. Maybe I'll try streaks again, but get something more vibrant, I don't know how we got into that. Oh, yeah, date fraud, essentially. So it noted that other photographs were found in a locked safe that includes CDs with handwritten labels, including the descriptions, young, name, plus name, miscellaneous nudes 1, and girl pics nude. So he evidently did know how to use technology.
1990s technology.
Yeah. Well, that's better than 1980s technology, which is what the Polaroids or whatever were. No, that would have been 1990s as well, because he couldn't have gone to like Walgreens to get those pictures developed.
Yeah, there's stuff you just don't take to 1 hour photo.
He would have had to have, used some sort of instant print, I guess is what they call it.
You have to have your own dark room.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily. You could use one of those Polaroids that, prints it out automatically. It's not a great quality picture, though, is it?
No, Polaroids are not that great quality, but it was instant, and that was something when usually you'd have to, with film cameras, you'd have to take enough pictures to run the whole roll of like 36 pictures. You have to drop the film off at a drugstore or wherever, and then you'd have to wait a day or two for them to get developed, and then this 1 hour photo thing came along.
Oh, okay. The 1 hour photo thing was new?
Yeah.
See, it's existed pretty much my entire life.
Yeah, I think that came around in like the 80s.
Okay, yeah, it's existed my entire life then, definitely.
But
even then, you could only take that to like a Walgreens or a Walmart or a CVS if the person doing the developing was on your payroll.
Right.
And he may very well have been.
Yeah, because they were instructed if they saw stuff in there that was like little kids in a bathtub naked or something, or anything obviously sexual with kids, they'd call the cops.
Really?
Yeah.
That didn't appear to be the case in the South, at least. Or maybe, it had to be sexually suggestive, perhaps, in the South, because my aunt has pictures of...
Yeah, it had to be sexually suggestive.
All of us in the bathtub, one of us standing up, full frontal nudity, but...
just being in the bathtub, it did have to be sexually suggestive.
Okay. Evidently, he knew enough to put these pictures on CD and then label them with most obviously child pornography names, because he was rich. He didn't have to be smart.
No, he wasn't going to get caught, and even if he did, he's probably thinking right now that he's just going to get off with another little slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen this time. It might, but it will depend a lot.
He's got enough money to make it happen.
If he gets parole, he can make it happen. I'm going to say if he doesn't get parole, he can't make it happen. If he does get parole, he'll just go to his island. He'll just disappear. The man's got billions of dollars. He doesn't need the United States. So in calling for Epstein to remain in jail, the memo noted that he is a registered sex offender after a 2008 conviction in Florida and is not reformed. He is not chastened. He is not repentant. Rather, he is a continuing danger to the community and an individual who faces devastating evidence supporting deeply serious charges. Now, the problem here is that it's a double jeopardy nightmare. Unless there are new charges to bring against him, he has already been, whether you like the result or not, he has already been charged by the United States court system. And he cannot be charged again for that crime.
Yeah, but they've got enough evidence now to charge him with new crimes.
That's part of the problem, though, because the initial plea deal granted him immunity from future charges. And
really?
Something along those lines. Well, I know that a large part of this case depends on whether or not a federal judge is going to uphold the initial agreement that he made with the Florida DA, who is now the Department of Labor head.
Wow.
Yeah, so that guy got quite a nice little promotion for giving Epstein that wonderful deal. And we still haven't even gotten into the weird crap found in his house. So don't go anywhere. This is Call to Freedom. Give us a call, though. Let us know what you think. 603-283-6160. Or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's the Onion Radio News. JCPenney abandons its 45-second sale. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Word came today from JCPenney headquarters in Plano, Texas, that the retail giant will discontinue its 45-second sale. The bargain bonanza, in which all JCPenney merchandise is discounted by 60% for 45 seconds starting at 1 p.m. daily, simply wasn't pulling in enough revenue. CEO Alan Questrom.
The 45-second sale drew very strong customer response, but regrettably, only a handful of shoppers actually got to capitalize on our fantastic prices due to the horrific injuries they sustained during their stampede to the cashier.
Questrom added that plans are in the works to create a longer 2-minute sale intended to give frantic shoppers at least a fighting chance to enjoy incredible store-wide savings. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm. Oh!
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom, and I'm totally spacing on what I'm supposed to be talking about right now because it's not 5:47, it's 3:47, and for like a year, I hadn't memorized what to say and when, and now all of that is just, I can't even take everything that I know and say, okay, well, it's basically 5:47. What was I supposed to talk about at 5:47? I don't freaking know anymore.
I forgot.
Yeah, I did know. I do still remember the important ones. The ones like Thin Blue Line Game that have actually paid us, or ones like Rational Review that have, not necessarily paid us, but...
There was something about the podcast, right?
Yeah, they host our podcast at 5:47. It may have been the podcast, actually. Yeah, I think it was. Or social media, and the podcast came later.
Right.
No, social media was 5:33. You're right. And the podcast was at 5:47. Okay, so if you like the show but don't like the commercials, I've got good news for you. We do have a podcast that does not include the commercials. You can find it at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com. And there you can listen to the archive of shows going all the way back to when I took over the show in like mid-February, mid-January. I don't remember exactly when.
I think it was January or February.
Yeah, but speaking of Podbean, they hit me with a monthly payment that we have to keep our service there online. So if you want to help out with that, you can go to patreon.com/calltofreedom so that I don't have to pay for that out of my own pocket like I did accidentally yesterday morning by totally spacing on the fact that it was about to be taken out of my account.
It's on auto pay, right?
Yeah. So, whoops.
Yeah, surprise.
Not the end of the world, though. I mean, it's only like $14 a month, but I mean, we're receiving like $7 a month on Patreon, so halfway there, mitigating some of those losses that I received by doing Call to Freedom. It's significantly less now that I'm not having to essentially burn, $5 worth of gas every single day to come here and then kill 3 hours every single day that I could be doing something else, either more enjoyable or more productive.
Yeah.
Like I've immediately taken this time and started filling it with my other job, which I now go in at 6 o'clock at, which is an additional, I'm not going to really say, but it basically comes out to like an additional 4 hours every single week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually getting paid for that instead of doing Call to Freedom daily, where I was actually losing money. Well,
Yeah.
it was worse than
And
not
losing
getting
money,
paid.
yeah.
I was losing money by doing it because of the gas fees, the Podbean costs, which still obviously cost me money and all of that. So, again, calltofreedomlive.podbean.com is where you can listen to the podcast and some excerpts from the show that are interesting, like how gay is too gay, like when Alex Jones called the show, and like when Tom Gray just put that Don Boy's pastor totally on blast. You, sir, are a heretic. I brand you a blasphemer, and all this other stuff. It was great.
Oh, my.
God, I love that. And it lasted for like 30 minutes of him just going off on this pastor who, quite rightly, as Tom Gray pointed out, is not interested in actually redeeming the souls of gay people or anything like that. What he's interested in is convincing everyone else how yucky being gay is. Speaking of yuckiness, though, we've been talking about Epstein and what prosecutors or police have found in his mansion. In a report on the mansion, which is valued at more than $55 million, the New York Times noted that its artwork includes, on the second floor, a commissioned mural of a photorealistic prison scene that included barbed wire, corrections officers, and a guard station, with Mr. Epstein portrayed in the middle.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, the Times quotes a public relations specialist who recently met with Epstein at his home, saying that Epstein said, "That's me. And I had this painted because there is always a possibility that it could be me again." Well, hold on.
My. You think you keep engaging in the activities that got you sent to prison in the first place, and you don't think it would eventually come out?
Well, it's worse than that. He didn't go to prison.
He went to jail like every night of the week.
He went to a private wing of a jail. He was certainly not surrounded with barbed wire or hostile corrections officers and a guard station. All of that is just utter fabrication. He lived an extremely cushy and luxurious life while in jail.
Now, he was in literal club fed, but only overnight. During the day, he went back to his office.
I thought, no, he wasn't in club fed. He was in the county jail for his stay, which is probably pretty good. I don't think he was in a federal prison, certainly.
I could be wrong about exactly which. I'm pretty sure he was actually on work release that whole time, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Between 12 and 16 hours a day, depending on the source. But yeah, so he basically just slept there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surrounded by barbed wire and guards, and that was me, but it wasn't you.
No, you left every day.
You got to leave every single day. Well, 6 days a week, at the very least, depending on the sources. Some say 7, some say 6. So in a report on the mention, I skipped that. I said that already. Epstein has pled not guilty to 1 federal count of sex trafficking and 1 count of sex trafficking conspiracy for allegedly sexually exploiting minor girls at his home in Manhattan, Palm Beach, and other locations, according to the federal indictment. So these are additional charges that are distinct from the initial charges, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they could give him immunity for stuff he did before the plea deal, but I don't see how he could possibly get immunity for stuff he did after it.
Right. The home, however, also includes oddities such as a hallway covered with artificial eyeballs originally made for wounded soldiers.
That's bizarre.
That is weird, not criminal, and not pedophilic. But certainly weird.
It is weird. This is one messed up dude.
It also had a life-size female doll hanging from a chandelier, a sex doll hanging from a chandelier. They don't say it was a sex doll, but if it was a life-size female doll, it was a sex doll. Hanging from a chandelier.
Why?
I don't know. That's the sort of thing that I would do, though. Just to be funny, I guess.
You're a little weird yourself.
Yeah, just to mess with people for the most part. I mean, they come in to this nice $55 million mansion. Oh, there's a sex doll hanging from the chandelier. What is going on?
But you like to troll people. So
I do like to troll people.
It's a little different.
It also had a chessboard with custom figures, many dressed suggestively and modeled after one of his staffers, the Times reported. I don't see anything particularly...
Creepy.
Really? I mean, it seems like she would have had to consent to be modeled for them. I don't find it creepy.
Maybe she did. Maybe she got well paid for it, but it's still creepy to see chess pieces that are shaped like women.
I don't think I would find that creepy. I think I would be like, hey, yeah, I'd like to buy this chess set. But I'm weird too. I'm a very sexually oriented person, and it seems that Epstein is as well. He just had tastes that I don't approve of. Federal prosecutors said in the indictment that they were moving to seize the mansion as part of the proceedings against Epstein.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They want his money, and they're going to get it one way or another. I guess the guy who gave this plea deal feels like he wasn't highly paid enough. You know, a lot of people are pointing at this and the Trump connection to him, saying, oh, well, look, Trump is he's clearing out the elite pedophilia ring, just like we wanted. But I mean, he's friends with Epstein.
Donald Trump was on that Lolita Express 727 himself.
Yeah. And now he's saying, oh, we had a falling out. We haven't spoken in 15 years or whatever. Yeah, I don't believe anything you say, Donald Trump, especially not on something like this.
We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. I would fully expect, because he looks like a rat. Epstein does. He looks like he's going to squeal. I expect him to either A, if the allegations are true and there is this elite pedophilia ring involving presidents and world leaders and prime ministers, and it seems like there could be.
It would not surprise me to find out that's true.
No, based solely on the people who have spent time around Jeffrey Epstein, who is now in jail for doing this, for sex trafficking underage girls, right? Who has visited with world leaders, prime ministers, princes. There was one from Saudi Arabia, another prince from Saudi Arabia, all throughout the world, who have come to this guy's private island, and he allegedly took photographs of having sex with minors. So there may, in fact, be something to this whole thing. If it's true, I expect him to turn up dead very, very quickly.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that meme, the fake Twitter post going around, like the fake Twitter post from Hillary saying, Jeffrey Epstein was a wonderful family friend. His impending suicide is going to be sad for us all. Something like that.
I would not be at all surprised if he finds his way into some ward where pedophiles are notoriously mistreated. and he just inadvertently gets beaten to death. I don't think it'll be a suicide because I think that's too obvious. But if all of this is true, I think they will allow other inmates to do it for them. And they'll be like, oh no, we can't identify which inmate it was. Call to Freedom. We'll be back in a moment.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,397. Silver at $15.10, and Bitcoin is trading around $12,436. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a recently published U.S. Internal Revenue Service slide describes alarming recommendations on how tax agents should deal with digital currency users who are not paying taxes. The slide recommends that agents question crypto users' friends and family, comb through social media posts, and issue subpoenas to make sure United States residents are paying taxes on their cryptocurrencies. Activist Post reports the slide follows the IRS's recently announcing tax guidelines on cryptocurrencies, which will contain rules about the tax treatment of digital assets and forks. Even though the new tax guidelines have not been issued to the public, IRS agents who enforce the tax laws have had no problems prosecuting Bitcoin users for tax evasion. The recently published slide gives a lot of detail on how agents should combat crypto tax evaders by using a variety of investigation methods. Within the 181-page document, there are thorough descriptions of what a cryptocurrency is and chronicled paragraphs on assets like Ripple and Bitcoin. The report discusses a myriad of digital currencies, and the descriptive study even calls certain hardware wallet users fanboys. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A trove of public records obtained by privacy experts at Georgetown Law revealed that ICE and the FBI have used facial recognition technology to mine state driver's license databases for information on millions of Americans without consent, a practice that critics condemned as a disturbing breach of civil liberties. Activist Post reports that privacy advocates and immigrant rights groups reacted with alarm to the documents, the release of which comes as members of Congress are increasingly raising concerns about the threat that facial recognition technology poses to civil liberties. The FBI and ICE have carried out facial recognition searches in 3 states that allow undocumented immigrants to obtain full driver's licenses. They are Utah, Vermont, and Washington. After a long dormant stretch, the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board has signaled it's ready to tackle another big review of government surveillance and overreach. The PCLOB, an independent agency in the executive branch, last published a 2014 report on warrantless surveillance of the Internet by the U.S. intelligence community. While EFF welcomes the PCLOB's efforts to bring oversight and transparency to the most controversial surveillance programs, they have disagreed with some of the board's findings, especially on surveillance under FISA Section 702. While it's a good sign that the board is turning its attention to other major issues, Activist Post reports that its mixed history means it may be a little too soon to get hopes up. This week, the board, which was created after a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission to look into the violation of civil liberties, released a strategic plan that does not shy away from investigating some of the biggest threats to privacy in the U.S. According to the document, they will be looking into the NSA's collection of phone records, facial recognition, and other biometric technologies being used in airport security. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Apparently oblivious of the dismal fiscal climate, local dog Digby is wolfing down kibble as if the United States isn't in a goddamn economic crisis. Sources say the shockingly selfish 4-year-old German Shepherd appears callously unswayed by the constant stream of gloomy market forecasts and continues gorging on brand-name pet foods, milk bones, and table scraps as if the U.S. unemployment rate hasn't been above 8% for the past 3 years.
Here we are tightening our belts while this dog scarfs down bowl after bowl like the Dow Jones Industrial Average has gone through the roof or something. You think that he'd think twice since U.S. credit rating's been downgraded, but Digby doesn't give a damn. Ain't that right, Digby? You don't give a flying do you?
The Onion solemnly bids farewell to the 22 crew members who perished during the production of today's Week in Review. You will be missed. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. As always, I'm your host, Arya DeMezzo, of local.bitcoin.com. I'm actually Arya Anarchist there. That's A-R-I Anarchist. Simply is a portmanteau of 2 words that I like. Joined in the studio today by
Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
And I have no affiliation with localbitcoin.com. That's just the first thing that came to mind because I don't have any of my stuff in front of me anymore because it's no longer a daily show, so I don't carry it around that.
So Roger Ver, send us money.
Yeah, I would love for Roger Ver to send us money. I don't see it happening, though, because our show is not only... It was too small for him when Will talked to him back in January or December, whenever it was. I'm not actually sure they ever actually had that conversation, but it's certainly too small now. So, in keeping with the general trend of what we've been discussing today, there's an article here from The Independent about how decriminalizing prostitution could drastically reduce sexual violence and sexually transmitted infections, according to a new study.
Well, that one's pretty obvious, isn't it?
It is completely obvious. Everywhere that prostitution is legal has seen dramatic decreases in sexual violence, sex trafficking, and sexually transmitted infections.
Gee, I wonder why.
Well, it should be pretty obvious. I mean, why? I mean, obviously, you know why, but it should be pretty obvious to people why when you can do this kind of thing above the table, when you can actually screen your customers. This is why things like Backpage.com and PinkLink.com and all of these other websites that do similar things that are sex work websites have done so much to eliminate sex trafficking and sexual violence. It's because when you can screen your customers, you can, be much safer than you were if you're a drug addicted by force, right? Because that's what happens in a lot of these sex trafficking cases. They kidnap or just browbeat someone at the age of 14 or 15.
Yeah, they force them into lives of prostitution that they didn't actually want to go into.
Yeah. And then they get stuck there.
That's a black market. I mean,
and then the pimp, of course, not only brutally beats the women, but also extracts most of their money from them.
Yeah, or all of it.
Or all of it, yeah. So it's no surprise whatsoever that when we see places, I think it's King County in Nevada that actually has legalized prostitution, because Las Vegas doesn't. But it may actually be the county that Las Vegas is in has legalized prostitution.
I had thought that it was all of Nevada except Las Vegas.
It may be. I remember, when I lived in Las Vegas, I was dating a chick. So I had
You had no reason to look.
No. So I didn't look into the prostitution network. But, it's certainly there. And the prostitutes that you get there are going to be significantly cleaner, less drug addicted, because you're not just a drug addicted hooker out on the street at that point. You have an employer, and this employer has a reputation to protect, just like you do.
Yeah, and you actually get to keep your money.
And if you come to work on heroin or meth or coke or whatever, they're going to fire you, just like any other employer would. So, you tend to get less of this sort of crime against humanity by legalizing prostitution.
Yeah, prohibition never works.
But decriminalizing it is only the first step, really. We can take these two steps simultaneously. The other step is destigmatizing it, because just the whole perception of people involved in sex work, it causes you to be diminished in their eyes. Like, I do camgirl stuff now, and that is technically sex work. When I tell people that, I can almost watch their opinion of me dropping, because it's, oh no, this great big private thing, and you're just sharing it with whoever for money? Well, yeah, and you're an idiot for not doing that.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you. But research published in the Review of Economic Studies found that when prostitution was decriminalized in Rhode Island,
Was it? I hadn't heard that one.
This is the first I've heard about it. Go you, Rhode Island. I am proud to hear that. Sexual violence fell by 30%, and female gonorrhea incidents decreased by more than 40%. Now, gonorrhea is a bit like chlamydia. It's curable.
Yeah, isn't that just you take your round of antibiotics and you're done?
I don't know. I've never had gonorrhea.
I haven't either.
When I had chlamydia, they did go ahead and give me treatment for gonorrhea, come to think of it, though. It wasn't because I tested positive for gonorrhea. It was because my test for gonorrhea was screwed up, and they were like, well, look, we know you have chlamydia, so we're just going to treat you for both of them. There's no reason not to. It's not going to cost you anymore, so let's do it. It was a shot, but it was essentially an antibiotic shot.
Okay, yeah.
And it decreased by more than 40%. And this is obvious, right? Because at this point, you're not just legalizing sex work. Your reputation depends on it in these cases. Chlamydia is extremely bad here in Keene, New Hampshire, because a lot of college students, Keene State College is sort of a party college. It's not somewhere you'd want to go to get a master's. They do have some master's programs, but it's not going to look great on your resume.
Yeah, you come here as to get a bachelor's and then go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's not a bad college by any means, and it will still help you get a job, but it's a party school. And chlamydia here, based on what I was told at Planned Parenthood, which is where I get my hormones from and my STI screenings from, because I can get it all right there in one place, they estimate it's somewhere between 25 and 35% of the college students that attend KSC have chlamydia.
Okay, that's ridiculously high.
And they don't know it. That's why it's ridiculously high, because there's no obvious side effects. There's no obvious symptoms. So they get it, and then they spread it, not knowing they have it, and then somebody else gets it, not knowing they have it. They continue to spread it. And after a number of years, you end up with like a 25 to 35% infection rate. And yeah,
crazy.
It's absolutely staggering. Hepatitis A is breaking out in a few counties over, largely for the same reason. I don't know the symptoms of hepatitis. I've never had cause to find out about it, but presumably it, like chlamydia and gonorrhea, isn't readily obvious to people who are sexually active, and they end up just not knowing they have it and transmitting it to other people. But when this is your actual line of work and you have an actual reputation that you have to protect, well, giving people gonorrhea is not going to protect that reputation very much.
Yeah, that's not a real good idea. Not if you're doing legal prostitution.
Right. And, out on the street, the sex workers have significantly less control, if they have any at all, over who they sleep with and who they don't. I think in most cases, never having gotten anywhere near underground prostitution, I want to be 100% clear of that. I've never gotten anywhere near it, but I believe as it works out is if a pimp sees a girl turning down a suitor, John, she gets beaten, as I understand it.
Wow.
Yeah. Because, that's money, right? And she just turned down money. She turned down the pimp's money. He doesn't care if she gets gonorrhea or syphilis or AIDS. It means nothing to him. He can just go out and get a different girl and put her on the street, right? But when you have an actual employer, they can't do that. They may be able to replace you, sure, but they can't beat you because you refuse to have sex with someone.
Yeah, indeed.
Because you had reason to believe, oh, this guy's a heroin junkie. It would probably be a bad idea to sleep with them. Now, I do use hookup apps like Grindr and Tinder and stuff like that, and I have, in fact, met with people and then turned away because I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. You're clearly a junkie. I didn't say that. I was just like, I'm no longer comfortable with this. I'm going home, or you need to get the hell out, or whatever. But I own myself. I am not a sex worker on the streets of... I'm not a sex worker at all, unless you count camp girls, which is stupid. I don't think that should be counted. I guess technically it is selling sex, but it's not actual sexual intercourse being sold.
Right.
So, I don't know. That whole thing is stupid. But, I have that autonomy to make that determination. These girls on the streets don't. But you also have that determination. You also have that autonomy when you have an employer or when you're your own employer, which was the case more often than not on sites like Backpage and Pink Link, where these girls didn't have employers. They didn't have pimps. They just had bodies that they wanted to sell for money in the same way that coal miners do, without the social stigma attached. Let us know what you think. 603-283-6160.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being. despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And as always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, we've been talking about... I'm doing a thing that I shouldn't be doing. Weird. So I'm already in there. It's not showing up. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry. Doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing while trying to do a show. So, we've been talking about sex work and the obvious results. Like, how many times do people have to see something legalized and all of these bad elements of it that get attached to it by proxy just vanish virtually overnight? Like we had Al Capone during the prohibition of the I think 1921 to 23 or 1919 to 1921. I don't know. So some early 20s BS, right?
Yeah.
He was a drug lord for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, pretty much.
They were vicious criminals. They killed on a whim. They stole. They robbed. They didn't give a crap. They used force and violence to exert their dominance over a territory, and they would kill anyone who challenged them. They bought the police. They bought the FBI. And it wasn't... according to mythology, it wasn't until some particularly honorable FBI agent got involved that they finally, actually cracked down on him.
Yeah,
but
as I understand, it was the IRS.
Okay. But even if you took down Al Capone, it wouldn't have mattered because 5 more would have popped up in his place.
Yeah. But they finally got rid of Prohibition and
yes,
all that vanished.
That was what got rid of Al Capone and people like him, was the destruction of Prohibition. Suddenly, alcohol sales were legal. So you couldn't get away with brutalizing your competition anymore. You had to actually do good business. Then you had Anheuser-Busch. You had Smirnoff. You have all of these other companies that are not going out there robbing other people's liquor delivery trucks.
Yeah, I don't see the manufacturers of Coors shooting the manufacturers of Miller.
No, but you do still have that with cannabis, with psilocybin cubensis, with acid, with MDMA, with heroin, and all of these other sort of drugs that are still prohibited.
But you should be able to go out and buy them at CVS right now.
Yeah, and because you can't, you do have Drug Lord Y killing Drug Lord B and Drug Lord C shooting at the people who work for Drug Lord D. It's just a total mess of crime, murder, and rape that should not exist and only exists because it's been made illegal. And now we look at prostitution and we see exactly the same thing. Oh, there's all this drug use around it. There's so much sexual violence and people being kidnapped. Just legalize the stupid thing and all of that goes away.
But we can't legalize the thing because people don't know how to take care of themselves and they shouldn't be getting prostitutes anyway.
Why not? I think the world would be a much... I don't.
Sex is bad, okay?
I don't... No, sex is great. I argue with those people's fundamental assumption. It's Puritanism that still carries most of the United States and our moral sentiments. That's all it is. It's Puritan ideology. It's Christian fundamentalist ideology that sex is bad. Sex is sacred. It's between a husband and a wife.
Only. And only for procreation.
Yeah. But that's absolute nonsense. Even when Christians actually controlled the United States directly, instead of just allowing their Puritan ideas to sort of propagate throughout the society, somewhat divorced from the actual religion itself. Because you can find a lot of atheists and a lot of people who just aren't Christians or aren't particularly religious who still agree that prostitution needs to be illegal. Sex trafficking is such a problem. We just can't have legalized prostitution. It's just so utterly moronic. If you get rid of the illegal prostitution, you almost completely eliminate the problem of sex trafficking.
Indeed.
And I hate to tell people this, but this will also include the 16, 17, and 15-year-olds being sex trafficked. I know it hurts to hear, but the same laws of prohibition and black markets and human nature apply there, just like they apply to 19 to 30-year-old prostitutes. Yeah. The reason that 15 and 16-year-old girls are being sex trafficked is because Jeffrey Epstein can't simply go online and buy himself a 15-year-old prostitute from some website.
That's the way it is. I mean, you can't argue with that. I mean, you can try, but you'd be wrong.
And I realize it bothers a lot of people, and I realize that I just lost every ally in the legalized prostitution category that I had prior to saying that, but yes.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
It is. We recognize this truism in regard to the drug war, in regard to gay marriage or sodomy or LGBT stuff. We recognize it in all of these categories, alcohol being another obvious example, and a lot of people are increasingly recognizing it in prostitution. Fair points. Right up until you point out that, yeah, this is also why 15-year-old girls are being sex trafficked. Because men can't just go out and pay for sex with 15-year-olds. I'm sorry, I wouldn't want to do it either. And I'm not any happier about it than anyone else is, but I would be happier knowing that this 15-year-old girl is able to screen her clients and able to get justifiably paid for the act in which she is to take part than I am with the idea of a 15-year-old being abducted on her way home from school, addicted to heroin while she's strapped to a bed and can't do anything about it, raped repeatedly over the course of several months until she's broken like a horse and then turned out on the streets. You tell me which one of those two scenarios you're more comfortable with, because one of those two things is going to happen.
Yeah, well, one of those two things has already happened.
Yeah.
So your choice is what we have now or the other one.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, no, we just have to do something else to end the sex trafficking. Okay. Give me your ideas.
Yeah, come on.
As soon as you come up with an effective and efficient way of actually eliminating the sex trafficking of underage girls, I will be willing to allow you to make it illegal to have sex with 15-year-old girls.
But you know what they're going to propose? The death penalty.
But that doesn't work. It has never worked. And look, you can castrate all the people you want. You can give them the death penalty. But if the death penalty was an effective deterrent against crime, we would not have people on death row right now. But we do have people on death row right now.
True.
Drug lords, those who operate in the millions of dollar ranges, they know they're risking their lives. For all intents and purposes, they are facing the death penalty. And even the little guys on the street who are just selling drugs for these major kingpins, they know that they are facing the death penalty either by a rival gang, a rival drug gang,
or the cops,
or by the cops. And they may, in fact, get arrested and get whacked by their own gang so that they don't, squeal. They know what the stakes are, and it's not stopping them from doing it because the rewards for them are high enough that they're willing to take the risk. And for a lot of perverts like Jeffrey Epstein, they're willing to take the risk.
Because, well, for them, getting caught is a very low risk.
It is.
I mean, it happened.
But I mean, he's certainly not the only one, And then
no, there's more out there.
Then you have people who have risked, 20, 25-year prison sentences just for smoking weed. And I don't care how much you like weed, you're not going to be as compelled to smoke weed as someone like Jeffrey Epstein is to have sex with underage girls. There's just a qualitative difference there. But people are still willing to risk that for pot. And you don't think they'll risk it for sex?
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And you know, we libertarians and anarchists, we talk a lot about how we might provide for charity in the absence of a state. And I have found a wonderful opportunity for people to do exactly that. Coming out of Sierra Leone is the Kids Compassion Charity, the CEO of which is Mustafa Cole, who has been on the show with us here before and who is relatively well known within libertarian circles. The charity, Kids Compassion Charity, actually helps to provide kids, villages in Sierra Leone with wells, printers that they can use for school materials and stuff like that, allowing them to actually, his goal is to teach them how to code. Because, I mean, that's probably going to be one of the most valuable skills that a person can have going forward in the world. The alternative would be the ability to fix the stuff that these codes run on, which is what I do. But both of them are extremely valuable skills, and they're only going to become more and more valuable. So help him do that. You can find it at kidscompassioncharity.com and click the donate button. They take PayPal. They also accept cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dash, and others. So there's no reason that people listening now can't just send this dude $5 worth of Bitcoin Cash to help him build wells in Sierra Leone for kids who otherwise don't have running water.
It's a worthy cause.
It absolutely is. And again, we literally know the guy who is out there doing it. It's not a scam. It's not any kind. You don't have to worry about the CEO being paid millions of dollars each year. It's an actual charity by an actual libertarian who is trying to do something positive. KidsCompassionCharity.com. Go check it out. Now, we've been talking about Bitcoin and sex most of the day. Oh my God, that would be a great name for a show.
Bitcoin and sex?
Yes.
Yeah, well, isn't that what we usually talk about?
It is. Maybe that's what we need to rebrand Call to Freedom to, the Bitcoin and Sex Show. So anyway, for the first hour of the show, well, actually, it was more bizarre than that. It was like for the first segment of the show, we were talking about sex and age of consent, and we were talking about Bitcoin. Then we were talking about sex again. So anyway, the findings show that sexual violence fell by 30%. And female gonorrhea incidents decreased by more than 40% in Rhode Island after prostitution was decriminalized. I'm not a fan of decriminalization.
Yeah, that's just baby steps. I mean, you've got decriminalization. What that means is they take the criminal penalty, like 5 years in prison, and they reduce it to, I don't know, 1 year or just getting a ticket or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the penalty now for prostitution in Rhode Island is, but I do know that decriminalization and legalization are not the same things. And I don't even like the term legalization because it implies that the federal government has the power to make things legal and illegal, and they don't. What I would prefer is an undoing of prostitution illegalization. Just scratch those laws off the book entirely. Yeah. These laws are no longer applicable.
Repeal.
And then, because it's sort of the default position for any given act in any free society is to be able to do it.
Yeah.
The government has to come in and make it illegal because it's legal by default.
Right. But the thing is, they want their money. So if they're going to make something legal again, they're also going to tax it.
Which is fine. Well, it's not fine. It's better than making it illegal.
Yeah, but what we saw with cannabis, like in California, when they made cannabis so-called legal, they also taxed it so highly that the legal businesses are going out of business and the black markets are springing back up.
Yeah, there is certainly a fine point to be made on this particular subject. You can't tax. I think in Massachusetts the tax is like 33% or something like that.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's some absurdly high number that makes it, yeah. Buying 20 pounds of skunk weed off the black market is definitely going to be better because it's going to get you just as high.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be as pleasant going down, but it's going to get you just as high. I'm not aware of any qualitative differences between being high and being higher. Pot just generally doesn't work that way in my experience. I've smoked a lot of weed in my days, but I'm not aware of ever smoking so much that I got higher. It was like, okay, we passed around one joint, we all got high. To me, it's 0 or 100 in regard to cannabis. You can't smoke more of it to go to 150 or 200 or 300. You're high or you're not high. That's how my experience has always been. But we didn't operate that way. I'm thinking specifically when I lived with some black dudes in a trailer park in Mississippi. It was one of the best times of my life, believe it or not. It was absolutely fantastic. Not for any sexual reason. I realize how people would interpret that statement today, but that's not how it was then. But we would sit there all night long playing dominoes and spades and stuff, listening to music and just passing blunts around right after that. There was one point in these shenanigans. So I remember every single one of us had our own blunt. And instead of just sitting there smoking, we just kept passing them around. Take 2 hits, pass it around. Every single one of us. We had enough lit at that moment that we could have just sat there smoking our own blunt. That's how much weed we were smoking. Not getting any higher from this.
No, but staying high.
Yeah, staying high, but that's not hard to do anyway. You certainly don't need to have a chain going where every single person has their own blunt in order to stay high. That's a bit overkill.
Yeah, that's just...
I would think that one blunt an hour would probably be sufficient to stay high. But you're definitely not getting higher from it. And how did we get onto this from decriminalization?
Because cannabis also got decriminalized.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's decriminalized here in New Hampshire, even though we're surrounded by states where it's recreationally legal in some places.
In quotes.
Yeah. Maine has recreational legal cannabis, right?
Yes, I think.
The one place where New Hampshire kind of excels against these people is actually psilocybin cubensis, which you can grow in your own yard if you want. The caveat is that you're not allowed to harvest. Well, you are allowed to harvest them, sort of. You're allowed to have them and grow them for decorative purposes only.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to decorate my stomach with these. So, my plan at some point when I don't have other priorities is to test this particular thing and to just have an entire backyard filled with shrooms. Like, no, they're just aesthetically pleasing because they are. If you've ever done shrooms, you find them to be aesthetically pleasing in the same way that people who smoke weed find weed to be aesthetically pleasing. It's like, hey, this is the stuff that makes me feel happy. I like this stuff. So yeah, a backyard full of shrooms, it would be great. And as I understand it, I would consult with an attorney before actually pursuing this. But as I understand it, in the state of New Hampshire, you can grow your own, as long as it's for aesthetic purposes.
Only.
Yeah. So, which means, however, that you can, in fact, harvest them to take them inside to decorate. And at that point,
these are decorative.
Some of them might accidentally get lost. I don't know.
Yeah, they fell overboard in a boating accident.
Yeah, I just happened to have my mouth open like this, and they fell out of the cabinet. It was a total accident. They were decorating the cabinet so nicely. But, for cannabis, I think it's a $70 fine, $75 fine if you get caught with it.
The thing about decriminalization is that I guess the intent is to make it still technically illegal, but not generally not worth the cops' time to bother with.
Yeah, and that's the case of psilocybin cubensis. That's shrooms, for everyone who's unfamiliar with it. In Denver now, It's still illegal, but it's the lowest priority for law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a step in the right direction.
Well, 20 years ago, they did the same thing with cannabis, and you see where we are now.
20 years ago, Denver did that with cannabis?
I think it was Denver.
I remember Denver was the first. I just didn't know if they took decriminalization as the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, that's good news. 20 years from now, I won't be interested in eating shrooms, though.
Oh, why not? Will you be dead?
Ideally.
Okay, we'll have that conversation in a minute.
But anyway, so I mean, there are perks to being in New Hampshire, one of which I believe is, being able to grow your own shrooms. I'm not growing shrooms, and I will consult with an attorney before attempting that. But this is the Call to Freedom. Let us know what you think. 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
If you're looking for work, you know what I mean by elevator speech. It's the short version, saying just enough to make the listener want to listen more. Even if you're not a job seeker, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. So to cut through the clutter, choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Instead of saying, due to the fact that, say, because, and avoid mispronunciations. Say jewelry, not jewelry, which could offend. Undoubtedly, you don't want to say undoubtedly. And whatever you do, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. Freedom freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And maybe you really like the show. You've been listening to it for a while, and you've been wondering what you can help and do to show your support. Well, you should check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Call to Freedom. Our wonderful sponsors there are currently helping to keep the show up and running, including David Jeffries and Leah Hoffman, both of whom we can't thank enough for showing their support. Again, that's Call to Freedom. That's patreon.com/Call to Freedom. So be sure to check it out. We would definitely appreciate it so that I don't have to continue paying for the podcast out of pocket, which really sucks. I don't particularly enjoy doing it. And why isn't this letting me do what I want it to do? I tend to be too busy for my own good.
I don't know. You're supposedly the IT expert, right?
Well, in some cases, but when it comes down to like programming and the more complicated sides of things, that's your job, man.
Okay, well, I don't know what you're doing.
No, I don't know what I'm doing either. I don't need to be doing it right now, though. It can wait 12 minutes. So, research suggests, to absolutely no one's surprise, that 23% of female sex workers report that they have had gonorrhea, compared to 4.7% for women who have never paid for sex. That's still extremely high. I would not have expected 5%, essentially, of women having had gonorrhea at some point.
Yeah, that does seem a little high, but, if people are actually out there just not getting tested regularly, like we were talking about Keene State College earlier with what? What was it, like 25%?
The numbers they gave me at Planned Parenthood was estimated between 25 and 35%. And they're basing this off of, people who come in and are confirmed to have chlamydia versus the population at Keene State versus the population of people who actually undergo regular STI screenings, because most people don't. I do. I'm sexually active, highly sexually active.
You have to then.
Yeah. So for me, it's just common sense. I have to go there every 3 months to get my hormones refilled anyway. So while I'm here, let's go ahead and make sure I'm not dying of anything and I'm not transmitting anything. Common sense, simple, easy. And if you do happen to have chlamydia or gonorrhea or something like that, it's very simple to treat. Even syphilis can be cured if caught early enough, as I understand it. I've never had syphilis. That would be my cue to get married, having syphilis. It's like, okay. I'm done. I just need to find one person to have sex with from now on. I'm going to make sure before we get married that they don't have syphilis. So, yeah, even HIV has been cured in lab rats now.
Yeah.
So we're probably relatively close to a cure for HIV. All of these will be positive things, but yes, regular STI screening. And again, I have had chlamydia. I don't mind saying that. In fact, we were at the bar a few weeks ago. One of my coworkers is leaving. It really sucks. I really like the guy. And we got to talking about sexually transmitted infections, because we're all weird people. And at some point I was like, yeah, I've had chlamydia. And the guy who I've never had sex with, he's really just a friend, goes, so have I. The girl beside me goes, so have I. The girl across from me goes, so have I. And it turned out that every single one of us at that table had chlamydia at one point.
Wow.
But I have heard at least one of these people STI shamed someone else for having had chlamydia.
Really?
Yeah. And a different coworker who doesn't go out because he's an alcoholic, he's also upfront about having had chlamydia at some point. And I've heard them refer to him as a slut, or, man slut with a slightly different word instead of slut, for just being so promiscuous that he managed to get chlamydia from the mouths of one of these people who I recently learned did in fact herself have chlamydia at some point. That's the problem with STI shaming. If you keep it to yourself, you can operate in that sort of cognitive dissonance of, oh, this person's dirty because they had chlamydia. Well, bitch, so did I.
Yeah, so did you.
Yeah. It's not that big a deal. That shaming has to stop. You can have sex with one person
take
and
your
get chlamydia
antibiotics and go home.
Yeah. I work with this kid who is so obviously a virgin. If he has sex with a girl at Keene State, there's like a 35% chance, according to the stats from Planned Parenthood, that he's going to get chlamydia. Does this make him a slut? He's had sex with one person his entire life.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so.
So we have to stop the STI shaming. It's not good. And, that's part of the reason sex workers get tainted with the brush of STDs and STIs so much, is to make prostitution and sex work look even less distasteful in the eyes of people than it really is. Just like Don Boys fixating on fisting and analingus.
Oh my God! I have no idea why he was so. I have to stick by my assertion. I suspect this guy is secretly gay.
Well, he may or may not be, but he absolutely did focus on the connotations of homosexual people that would most inspire disgust and condemnation from people he was trying to inspire those emotions in. It's the same reason that we look here and we see prostitutions like, oh, you're a prostitute? You probably have gonorrhea or syphilis or HIV or something.
Oh, really? Why do you think that?
Why do I think that?
No, the person.
Well, because the numbers are very high. 23% of female sex workers is about 6 times higher than women who are not sex workers.
And that's what happens when you make it illegal.
Yes, because, I don't know. If sex was more free, if these 23% of female sex workers who had gonorrhea were, legally, okay, yeah, you are correct. Because then they could just, do STI screening. It's like, okay, I need to see your most recent tests from the doctor proving that you don't have gonorrhea or syphilis or HIV or something.
Yeah, you go to the Bunny Ranch in Nevada, everybody gets tested every week. So there you go.
There you go. Of course, this doesn't particularly help the clients, though, because the testing does take a bit more time than that. HIV tests are instantaneous, but gonorrhea and chlamydia at least have to be sent to a lab. I don't know if those labs are simple enough that they can be done on site, though. I don't know. Maybe they are. At any rate, that technology would exist if we had a need for it. If I was able to open up a prostitution business here in Keene, which is not something I would be uninterested in doing if it was legal, I would absolutely do that because you get paid and you get to have sex. It's a win-win.
Yeah, sounds fun.
And there was demand for it. Okay, I need to screen people when they come in to have sex to make sure that they don't have any of these major STIs. Well, in that event, that technology to test on site would probably exist.
Yeah, it would get developed.
Yeah, because there's money to be made in it. Oh, look, all of these prostitution shops. What would we call those?
Brothels?
I don't want to call them brothels.
That was the old word.
It is a brothel, but I don't want to call them brothels. All of these prostitution businesses are opening up throughout the United States, and all of them have the same need to not have their girls or their guys infected with chlamydia. So let's develop some sort of home test kits for chlamydia and for these other common STIs. You mean to tell me that we can develop these tests for home drug testing, but we can't do it for home STI testing? No, we just don't have a demand for it. Well, we can create that demand for it, and that would be a beautiful thing. It would be a wonderful thing for you to be able to buy an STI, not comprehensive, obviously, but a relatively comprehensive STI screening test here at Walgreens. Say, okay, you had a wild month, and you want to make sure you didn't get anything. Okay, pop on to Walgreens and buy yourself a $30 STI kit.
Yeah, the everything test.
Yeah, you can get those for drugs. You can get those for diabetes blood testing. How come you can't get one for STIs?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and the only reason I can think of is just that there just isn't enough demand for it. Well, we can create demand for it relatively easily by legalizing prostitution, by allowing people to have a demand for STI testing, one that operates above the board. And sexual violence as well takes a stark decrease once prostitution is legal. Prostitution firms are more likely to invest in locks, security cameras, and security personnel to reduce the opportunity of premeditated client violence, researchers said. Shocking. Just like strip clubs have bouncers.
Yeah, who would have thought?
This is all common sense. We can end all of these bad things about prostitution easily, quickly, and simply.
Yeah, tomorrow.
All we have to do is legalize it. This has been The Call to Freedom. Thank you for listening. We'll be back Sunday with another live episode at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time at dlive.lrn.fm, twitch.lrn.fm, and of course you can find the archive of this show at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal